The Blue Plate was just another restaurant forgotten in the lunar city. Squeezed between a workshop and a warehouse, almost no one even remembered that it existed. But for Tyler Grant, that place was everything that remained of a dream. A dream that he refused to abandon, even when everything seemed to collapse under his feet. It was morning. With the crumpled apron and the hands still smelling of detergent, Tyler observed his reflection in the scratched window. On the outside, the gray horizon of the moon slept quiet, and up high the earth shone blue. The planet that he had left behind along with broken promises and a career that seemed impossible to rebuild. Business was going badly. The construction of the Galactic Assembly Complex had diverted all the movement, and the Blue Plate was sinking in silence, debts, and short hope. On Earth, he had been an award-winning chef until being destroyed by an unjust scandal. The moon should have been a restart. Now it seemed his last refuge. Sometimes he wondered if he had been courageous in trying again, or only foolish. The habitual silence was broken by the bell. Tyler raised his head and froze. 3 small blue figures entered the restaurant. Sarillanos, iridescent alien children, with silver eyes and double breathing. Seeing aliens was already rare. Seeing children of another species asking for food? That was absolutely unexpected. They looked at everything as if the Blue Plate were a kind of human relic. The tallest, using a universal translator, approached. "We have credits. We need sustenance." Stunned, Tyler improvised a dish compatible with their physiology. While he cooked, he noticed the hands trembling, not from fear, but from an enthusiasm that he had not felt for months. Someone was trusting him. Someone wanted to taste his food again, and that rekindled a fire that he thought had gone out. When he served the food, the 3 tasted in silence. Then, the leader said, "The flavor is harmonious," a simple sentence. But for Tyler, it seemed like a second chance. Ara, Mirin, and Tasso, thus they introduced themselves, returned the next day, and the other, and later brought more friends. Soon the forgotten restaurant filled with light voices, small steps, and alien laughs that seemed to give life back to the place. At each new visit, Tyler felt as if his restaurant breathed again. He cooked for them every day, and each dish served as a reminder that despite everything, he still had a purpose. Feeding those small beings was like feeding his own hope. For the first time in a long time, he felt part of something greater, still without knowing exactly what. And he not even imagined that that innocent encounter was about to transform not only his life, but the destiny of the entire galaxy. The following weeks were different from everything that Tyler had ever lived. For the first time since he had arrived on the moon, he woke up with desire to get up, turn on the kitchen lights, and smell the familiar scent of the steam, of the broth, of life returning. The Blue Plate, before silent and forgotten, now vibrated with soft voices, sharp laughs, and the metallic trills of the Sarilana children. They always occupied the same tables, 3 near the window, 2 close to the counter, 1 in the corner illuminated by the artificial sun of the dome. It did not matter the dish, rice with chicken, vegetables, grain soup, synthetic honey dumplings, everything was received with the same brightness in the eyes. And little by little, Tyler noticed something surprising. The small ones seemed different. Their eyes, before pale, were more alive. The iridescent skins gained new patterns, more vivid colors. They seemed better, stronger. One day, he asked Ara, "Are you eating well there in the residence of the delegation?" Ara hesitated, evaluating him. "Our food is sufficient, but yours is different." Tyler laughed. "Different good or different bad?" "Different. Alive," she said, and her silver eyes captured the light as if they kept secrets. The movement of the Blue Plate increased. Not only Sarillanos, but curious humans came to see the restaurant of the aliens. For the first time, Tyler felt that his life had returned to breathe, until the tranquility ended. On a common afternoon, metallic steps echoed, and the automatic door opened. A tall woman, gray uniform, military posture. Officer Brooks, of the Lunar Colonial Security. She displayed a hologram with images of the children entering and leaving the restaurant. We received reports of Sarilano minors unaccompanied in this place. This violates diplomatic protocols. The children froze. Miran shrank. Tasso emitted a sad trill. Ara took a step forward, the firm voice through the translator. We are not in danger. We just eat here. Brooks ignored. Security requires registration and accompaniment. If this continues, the place will be interdicted. Tyler breathed deep. I can register the restaurant as an authorized point of cultural exchange. That way everything stays legal. The officer evaluated him in silence. You have 48 hours. If you do not formalize, you will be held responsible for the violation. When she left, the silence became heavy. Ara approached and said only, if we are discovered, others will lose access to your food. Others? Tyler thought. But before he asked, they went away. That night, he did not sleep. Something was wrong. The children were afraid, more than they admitted. On the next day, a notification made him freeze. An anonymous transfer entered the account. A huge amount, sufficient to pay all the debts and renovate the entire blue plate. Accompanying the deposit, an encrypted message signed by 3 symbols. We need to guarantee the continuity of your service. Sarilana signature. Who was behind this? Why did they want so much that he continued cooking? On the next day, Ara returned alone. She looked around, lowered the tone, and said, You will understand tomorrow. And thus, the man who only wanted to maintain a restaurant on the moon was pushed inside a secret much greater than he imagined. Because on the next morning, Tyler would follow those children to a place where no human should enter, and would discover who really was eating his food. The next day dawned pale under the dome of the lunar city. The bluish light of the energy panels created an artificial aurora incapable of imitating the true sunrise. Tyler was already awake long before that, repeating in silence Ara's words. You will understand tomorrow. When the 3 small figures appeared at the door of the blue plate, he knew. The tomorrow had arrived. They did not come to eat. Ara only tilted the head, calling him with silent urgency. Tyler locked the restaurant and followed them through the metallic corridors, going down to old levels of the colony. Cold tunnels, little used, where the air seemed to weigh more. After half an hour, they arrived at an abandoned warehouse. The titanium door barely held itself. The children entered and Tyler went after. What he saw left him without air. The hangar was huge, illuminated by weak lamps. Among shadows, dozens of Sarilana children moved slowly, some seated on improvised mats, others lying down, all with a deep tiredness in the look. There was order there, but also abandonment. Ara said simply, These are the others. An older Sarillano approached. He had about 15 human years. I am Varric, guardian of this shelter. Tyler barely managed to process. They live here? Where are the responsibles? Varric indicated old machines vibrating in a corner. The war in the core separated families. Many were left behind. The nutrient dispensers. He showed a gray paste without smell. Barely keep us alive. Tyler felt the stomach twist. Ara approached, emotional. Your food strengthens us, makes us alive. In that instant, he understood everything and promised, From tomorrow, I will bring meals for all, every day. Varric tried to warn, If the security discovers... I have already lost everything once, interrupted Tyler. But I will not lose you. That night, he cooked like he had not cooked in years. Chicken, vegetables, grains, fruits. He separated everything in lunchboxes, reorganized stocks, planned menus, and thus began a clandestine routine that soon became legendary. Before the light cycle, Tyler prepared dozens of meals and carried them hidden through the tunnels to the warehouse. The children received each lunchbox with discipline, gratitude, and a new brightness in the look. Meanwhile, the blue plate prospered. Mysterious transfers covered expenses and kept the restaurant functioning. Tyler discovered something that he thought he had lost forever: purpose. Months passed, but the secret grew too much. Sensors detected unusual energy consumption in the lower sectors. Patrols began to investigate. Varric sought Tyler, distressed. "If they find us, we will be deported." Tyler made an immediate decision. "We are going to take everyone out of there." "To where?" "Leave it to me." With savings and donations, Tyler rented an abandoned restaurant in a deactivated sector. He cleaned, adapted, set up beds, brought supplies, transformed the place into a secret shelter. In one night, using Seriano invisibility cloaks, Ara, Varric, and Tyler transported the 40 children through the tunnels, one by one. When the last one entered the new hideout, Mirren handed him a small blue flower of light. "So that you never forget the kindness," translated the pendant. Tyler held the flower and cried for the first time in years. He did not know what would come next, but he knew that there was no return. The forgotten cook of the moon now was the protector of an intergalactic secret. And that secret was about to reach the ears of the only person who should not discover it, Viseria, sovereign of the Sarilanos, leader of the Galactic Core, and mother of one of the children under his care. And she was already coming. The following days were marked by tension. The lunar city, normally vibrant, was taken by inspections of the colonial security. Drones watched entrances, sensors analyzed biological signals, and rumors circulated. A group of young Sarilanos had disappeared, and the Galactic Assembly demanded answers. Tyler pretended normality. The blue plate remained open, while the secret shelter in the abandoned restaurant continued functioning and hiding. But the fear was constant. That morning, Varric appeared breathless. "Tyler." They arrived. "Who?" "The Sarilana fleet." The announcement of the colony echoed through the loudspeakers. Traffic suspended, reception of authority of high hierarchy in progress. Ara completed in a low voice. My mother came. The assembly complex shone on the horizon when the command ship landed. From the ramp emerged Viseria, sovereign of the Sarilanos, lady of the 7 constellations, mother of Ara. Her presence seemed to bend the air. Her blue mantle sparkled like melted stars. Before any protocol, she declared, "Bring me the human called Tyler Grant." When the guards opened the door of the blue plate, Tyler barely managed to breathe. Viseria entered, silent, immense. "You are the human called Tyler Grant," she said. "I am, yes. And you fed my children." Tyler's blood froze. "I did not know who they were. I only saw children hungry." She stared at him deeply. "And dozens of others also. Do you have idea of what you did?" "I fed who needed," he answered. "If that is a crime, I am guilty." Then Ara ran inside. "Mother, he helped us. He saved all of us." Viseria hesitated. That was not part of the protocol. Varric presented a device. "Majesty, the human food reactivates dormant enzymes in our bodies. Our synthetic supplement is insufficient." The sovereign gazed at the man before her, simple, tired, human. "You did this without asking anything in return?" "Because they were hungry," Tyler answered. "That is enough." Viseria approached, took a pie from the counter and tasted it. The translator took time to react, as if even the machine were surprised. "It is unexpected," she said, touched by something that she did not fully understand. Then she turned to him. "What am I going to do with you?" Tyler swallowed dry. The answer came like an impact. "You will speak to the Galactic Assembly." 2 days later, Tyler was before hundreds of species, millions of attentive eyes. He breathed deep. "I am not a diplomat nor a scientist. I am only a cook. But I saw hunger, and I cooked. For me, that is not being a hero. It is being human." The hall remained in absolute silence. Viseria stood up. "I propose that humanity receive full status in the Assembly, and that we create an interspecies initiative of child well-being." After heated discussions, the proposal was approved. The destiny of worlds changed in that instant. At the end, Viseria approached Tyler. "You did not feed only my children. You fed hope." Tyler smiled incredulously. "All this because of a lunch?" "No," she said, "because of kindness." And thus was born an alliance that would change entire civilizations. But that was not the conclusion of the story. It was only the beginning of the legacy of Tyler Grant, the cook of the moon who taught entire galaxies that compassion is a force as powerful as any technology. 6 months had passed since the speech that shook the Galactic Assembly, and in that time, the impossible had happened. Not only Tyler Grant had changed, but humanity itself had found a new place among the stars. The Blue Plate, the small restaurant that one day almost closed the doors, now was the living heart of the Galactic Initiative of Child Well-Being. The tables vibrated with voices of dozens of different species. Human laughs mixed with metallic trills, soft songs, luminescent clicks, and languages that sounded like wind passing through crystals. It was more than a restaurant. It was a meeting point between worlds. The walls had been expanded with Sarilana technology. Immense windows showed the Earth suspended in the void, blue, calm, distant, and at the same time so close to Tyler's chest that it seemed to pulse together with him. In the center of the hall, a plaque shone with its own light, engraved in all known languages. Here began the kindness that crossed stars. Tyler continued waking up early, with that little chill in the stomach that only those who love what they do know. He still tested seasonings, still arranged apron, still washed the counter with the same attention as always. But now, he no longer cooked alone. Around him, youths from dozens of worlds learned with him. Humans, Sarilanos, Thrix, Filianis, creatures that had never felt the aroma of garlic sautéed, the heat of a broth, the tenderness of a freshly baked sweet. And among them was Ara, more grown, more confident, moving the hands with delicacy and precision. "Careful with the salt," said Tyler, smiling. "The secret is not the flavor, it is the balance." Ara returned the look with that ancient brightness, wise and young at the same time. "Just like people," she answered with softness. Tyler laughed. "Exactly. Cooking and living are not so different like that." One morning, Viseria arrived without warning. There were no trumpets, guards, nor official announcements. She only entered, silent, elegant, wearing simple clothes that diminished the weight of the title she carried. There, in the middle of the children's voices and the smell of warm bread, she was not the sovereign of the 7 constellations. She was only a mother visiting the place where her daughter had learned to live again. Tyler approached, cleaning the hands. "Majesty? What a surprise." She smiled, gentle. "Today, only Viseria." She looked around, at human and alien children eating together, sharing desserts, telling stories in mixed languages. "The council approved the expansion of the initiative," she said. 17 planetary systems will receive units inspired by this restaurant." Tyler blinked like someone trying to understand a new universe. 17 systems? Me? Traveling through the stars? Viseria placed the hand over the counter. Her gesture had the delicacy of someone who has too much power and chooses not to crush anything. "Tyler," she said, "the universe needs to remember the taste of simple things, and only a human like you knows how to teach it." Later, when the visit ended, the restaurant became almost silent. The lights of the dome simulated the sunset, gilding the tables, the windows, the smile of the children. Tyler sat near the window with a cup of tea. Outside, the earth shone, that small blue beacon stuck in the infinite. Children ran between the tables. Human, Sarilana, from worlds that Tyler barely knew how to pronounce, all laughing with the same universal sound, all eating with the same legitimate joy, all alive, strong, full of future. Ara passed running. "Tyler, the pies are ready." He smiled and stood up. "Then let's serve the universe, Miss Ara." And it was true. There, with a simple apron and a pan in hand, he was feeding the future of entire civilizations. While he took one more pie from the oven, Viseria reappeared for an instant at the door. Silent, but intense, like someone who carries centuries of history in the look. "Tyler," she said, "all this happened because of a lunch." He smiled. "No, Viseria. It happened because of kindness." And for the first time, she smiled, not as a queen, not as a sovereign, but as someone touched by something that entire empires forgot. Genuine compassion. In that instant, Tyler understood something with the clarity of a star. Kindness, small, simple, human, is the most powerful force of the universe. Stronger than weapons, stronger than politics, stronger than technology. Because it is it that crosses species, that breaks borders, that touches what no power reaches, and changes the destiny of who receives and of who gives. The restaurant filled with laughs. The sweet aroma of the pies spread like a hug. And Tyler looked once more at the earth shining in the sky. Maybe humanity still has something to teach, he thought. He smiled, breathed deep, and returned to the kitchen. Because the entire universe, a universe now more united, more kind, more alive, still needed to have lunch. But this is only one of the many stories forgotten at the frontiers of time. If you've made it this far, subscribe to the channel Echoes of the Last Era to hear more tales of lost worlds, forbidden loves, and secrets hidden among the stars. Leave a like, share, and until the next echo.